How's it going, everybody? This is Mr. Bonhomme. Glad that you're able to tune in. So, what we have up here, I'm going to be reviewing about fractions, but fractions greater than one whole. Another way of saying that is improper fractions. So, fractions greater than one whole, aka improper fractions. And the reason why they're improper is because, how about you just take a look? So, an improper fraction will look like this. Now, we know that fractions are part of a whole. Actually, the numerator tells us how many parts we're focused on, and the denominator tells us how many parts each whole is broken into. So that's very important, how many parts each whole is broken into. So when I look at this 6 halves, I'll write it in words, 6 halves, I know that it has to be greater than one whole because 2 halves make one whole. So watch what I do. 6 halves is the same thing as 1 half plus 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 1 half. If I add these up, it's going to be 6 halves. And I'll show you how that makes sense. Here, I have a rectangle. This is 1 half, and this is 1 half. Right now, I only have 2 halves. 1 half, 2 halves. I always want to start at each whole. It could be a whole rectangle, a whole circle, whatever the case is, whatever the shape is. But we use fraction bars in class, and this is really helpful. So this is one whole fraction bar, and I have 2 parts, 2 halves. I'm not at 6 halves yet, so I need to make another whole fraction bar and cut it into halves. Now I have 1 half, 2 halves, 3 halves, 4 halves. I don't quite have 6 halves yet, so I have to add another whole. And I'm going to partition it, cut it up, divide it into halves. This is a half, and this is a half. So now I have 5 halves, and now I have 6 halves. Alright? So when we look at this, usually fractions, the numerator are less than the denominator. For example, 3/4. This is improper because the numerator is larger than the denominator. That also lets us know it's greater than one whole. I'll give you another example. And this time I'll also do it on a number line. So let's say we have 5/4. The denominator tells us how many parts each whole should have. The numerator is telling us how many parts we're focused on, or that might be shaded. So what I'm going to do, I see that the denominator is 4. I'm going to make one whole, and I'm going to partition it into 4ths. These are all 1/4. 1/4, 1/4. As you can see, I only have 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and 4/4. I need 5/4. So I need to make another whole. Partition it into 4ths. 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, and 1/4. And now I have 5/4. So I'll shade that in. Some students may be a little bit confused and think that this right here is actually 5/8. But we see that this is one whole over here, and this is another whole. I'll write the whole word out. So don't get it confused with this. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8. These would all be 1/8. And then we were shading 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 5/8 because this is just one whole right here. But here we have 5/4. The fourths lets us know there should be 4 parts in each whole. We need a little bit extra, so we need another whole, and we partition it into fourths. All right? This might take a little bit of practice, but just think about the denominator. How many parts go into one whole? And if there's a little bit extra, you have to make another whole. Don't get it confused with this, 5/8, because this is all combined together, and this is one whole. This is Mr. Bonhomme. Oh, before you go, let me show you how to do this on a number line. It's quite easy. So, because we know it's one whole and two whole, just make a number line. You can put 0, W for wholes. You put 1, W for wholes, and 2 with the W for wholes. And because we know that it's fourths, we'll cut each whole into fourths. And now I can even label it. 0/4, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, 5/4, 6/4, 7/4, and 8/4. And if I'm looking for 5/4, I know it's greater than one whole because 4/4 is one whole. So it'll be right there. All right. Hopefully this was helpful and you got a little bit smarter. All right. This is Mr. Bonhomme. Peace.